All right, we got some UFC Perth fight picks. Let's get into them right away. We started off with 16 bouts on UFC Perth. Now we're down to 13. Oban Elliott got pulled last night for an illness. So let's run over the card. Women's strawweight, Loma Lukbanami versus Alexia Tirana. I'm going to go with Tirana from Brazil. Heavyweight bout, men's, Brando Perchik versus Alicia Ellison. I'm going to go with the Aussie, Perchik. Michelle Montage versus Luana Carolina. I'm going to go with the Brazilian, Luana Carolina. Colby Thickness versus Josias Musasa. I'm going to go with Colby. Jamie Malarkey versus Rolando Badallo. I'm going to go with Badallo from Peru. Cam Roston versus Andre Petrosky. I'm going to go with Roston from Australia. Navajo Sterling versus Rodolfo Bellato. I'm going to go with Navajo Sterling. Main card, Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. I'm going to go with Tom Nolan. Justin Taffa versus Louis Sutherland. I'm going with Taffa. Jake Matthews versus Neil Magny. I'm going to go with Matthews on this one. Big fan of Neil, but I'm going with Matthews. Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Tavares. I'm going to go with Jack on this one. Jimmy Crute in the co-main event. Oh my. Versus Ivan Urslan. I'm going with Crute. In the main event, Carlos Olberg versus Dominic Dominator Reyes. I originally was going with Reyes, but I'm going to switch my pick. I'm going to go with Olberg. Olberg at home, Australia. There's our UFC Perth Picks, fresh off the press. Here we go. Let's get into some UFC news now. UFC news, a lot of news. The UFC is charging a site fee. A site fee. If the UFC is coming to your town or city, they're going to want some money. They're going to want millions. I believe Saudi paid 20 to 40 million, and here in the United States, they're going to ask for 5 million for cities. And that's just, hey, here's the money, and we're going to book the event. It's pretty lucrative project. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but that's what's going on. TKO Group, I believe Mark Shapiro came out and had a statement saying, if we came to your town and we did well and we sold out and everything went well, you're going to have to pay a site fee now for us to come back. And if you don't pay that site fee, we're not coming back. Very interesting. UFC Perth ticket sales were not doing well. I think they sold 20 or 30% of the tickets. The event starts at 7 a.m. in Australia time, which is insane. Today, they dropped the tickets down to $50, $75 a piece from $200 to $300, just so they could fill it up. And they'll probably give away tickets as well. Tickets in the UFC are heavily overpriced ever since TKO Group bought the company, and it's a business now. It's a huge business, and I understand where they're coming from. There's a lot of people want to make money, but the fans aren't making that much money to pay these ticket prices, and they'll just stay home, and that's what we'll do. Ilia Topuria, UFC lightweight champion. Ilia Topuria says he's fighting at the White House, not Conor McGregor. What do you guys think? Ilia at the White House? I like the idea. Conor McGregor wants $100 million cash and 100 gold visas for his family, for the United States, in order for him to fight at the White House card. Unbelievable request. Conor McGregor wants $100 million plus 100 gold visas for his family and friends. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Why don't you just stay home and work out on your yacht, buddy? Alex Pereira and Ankalaev had a confrontation at the UFC PI. They had some back and forth interviews with translators, and long story short, Big Ank says, I don't like Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira says he's going to knock him out. This thing's heating up. We got 8 days to the main event. I'm excited. UFC 320. You got Corey Sandhagen enter Sandman versus Merab Dvalishvili. Can't wait for that one too. Here's my early picks. Poatan, Sandhagen. Yeah, Poatan Merab. Yeah, you know. UFC purse sales were low. Matus Gamrot was given the nod against Charles Oliveira at UFC Rio. in October. Once again, Rafael Fiziev had to pull out due to a leg injury. And now you have Charles Oliveira versus Mateusz Gamrot. And that's going to be a 5-round main event. That's going to be a 5-round main event. And that's it for the UFC news today on Friday. Have a great day, fight fans.